You ever hear the story about the guy that successfully robbed a Vegas casino? Probably not, so here we go. The year is 1992 and Bill Brennan comes off as just another average casino worker. He's toiling away over at the sportsbook at the Stardust day in and day out. What the Stardust was about to find out, though, was just how different Bill was, to the tune of $500,000, or over $1 million in today's currency. And it should be noted that it seems back in 1992, casinos were a little more trusting of their assets. Nowadays, of course, things are locked down tighter than ever. The stakes are also higher, but what exactly happened back then that allowed this to take place? So Bill was a great employee, at least to start. Always on time, hardworking, studious, but as time went on, he somehow started to change. Working in the casino, he'd meet all types of people, from low rollers betting simple $16 parlays to whales putting huge money down on the line. And it would seem that the lust for a lifestyle similar to a high roller he had met would push Bill to a very dark place. Richard Saber, who managed the sportsbook at the legendary Stardust at the time, remembered telling Bill that the man that he had befriended, the somewhat shady high roller, was somehow not right. He wasn't a good person. He said that Bill would get in trouble if he kept out hanging around with him. And sure enough, the greed got to Bill's head. In 1992, during Monday Night Football, the race and sportsbook was filled with people placing bets on Monday night's games. Bill had one job that night, simply to count the money. But Bill, he had much different plans. Now you're probably thinking that Bill did something similar to a movie, something like Ocean's 11. Yeah, but there was no acrobatics, there was no trapdoors, there were no smoke grenades, and there was no team that anybody can tell. Heck, there doesn't even seem to be any accomplices that anybody can identify. Bill literally just threw the money he was supposed to count, a cool $250,000 cash along with about $250,000 worth of chips, into a bag, and simply walked off his shift, never to be seen again. And Bill was no dummy. I mean, he knew where the cameras were, therefore there was no surveillance footage of him actually leaving the property, proving that he even did the crime. And because you're no dummy either, you know that a sub to this channel would be one steal of a deal for you. Now, police showed up at his apartment, but there were no signs of him ever being there and no indication that he might ever come back. There was no idea of where he had gone, and according to sportsbook manager Saber, he said that he was, quote, a total loner. He lived alone with his cat, and even if cats could talk, it seems that Bill took that with him too, so good on you, Bill. And while most people go next to family or friends, again, Bill was a loner and had no such people that he could have even gone to. As days turned into weeks, the trail to cash Bill turned colder and colder. People that knew Bill said that they would never have expected this of him. Everyone said what everybody always says in this such case, which is that he was such a nice, quiet guy and he got along with everybody. Still, there were some signs that no one bothered to pick up on at the time. As he hung out with his new high roller friend more and more, Bill was spotted reading strange books, like books on how to change one's identity. He became withdrawn at work, antisocial, and probably not by coincidence, a few weeks after Bill made off with the cash, the high roller also vanished mysteriously from the Stardust, never being seen at the property ever again. Maybe the two planned the heist together? Was that it? Was it possible that the shady high roller had some connections to organized crime that nobody knew about? Hey, maybe Bill disappeared after the heist because he refused to split up the money. Maybe Bill ended up in a barrel at the bottom of Lake Mead. Nobody quite knew. And you know, to this day, the crime has never been solved. Bill successfully pulled it all off. And even though Bill's still at large, the case hasn't been worked on for many, many years. Still, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police say that the case is technically open, and they'd be willing to reopen it up entirely if the right kind of tip were to come in. And the fallout of the heist? Well, a shockwave was sent through the entire gaming industry, of course. There was a complete overhaul of how casinos would approach their security, with the Stardust and other such properties immediately installing more cameras, not only on the casino floor, but also in the back rooms of the properties, and also limiting access to sensitive areas for employees. So look, the next time the casino beats you down, raise a silent toast to the one man that managed to beat the casinos. As criminally wrong as it absolutely was, it's an interesting story of the single time Las Vegas failed to get their own money back. So how'd you enjoy the story? Tell us in the comments below. Thanks for watching my video. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. Subscribe to the channel for more. And I love you, Caroline. And as we say, 3, 2, 1, and click!